Hi. In terms of opening remarks, I want to give you some flavor of some of the discussions that I have when I'm in the field with the communities and the women and the young people and the people who are locally the administrator of the territories. One of the things that they told me, which I said, I'm going to say it in New York, and they asked me, pressed me to say it, is the following. In French, it is, Madame Keita, est-ce que vous pouvez dire à tout le monde que, au lieu de passer par la fenêtre, il faudrait passer par la grande porte? Alors ma première réaction, c'était fenêtre et porte. Et ensuite, les femmes m'ont expliqué ce à quoi ils faisaient allusion. C'est que pour les ressources naturelles de la RDC, il est vraiment important que chacun, chacune, se rende compte que ce qui se passe à l'est de la RDC, c'est vraiment problématique parce que l'exploitation illégale des ressources naturelles de la RDC, c'est un problème parce qu'il y a des gens qui meurent à cause de ça, il y a des gens qui sont blessés à cause de cela. Nous avons plus de 7,9 millions de personnes qui sont déplacées à cause de cela. Et rien que dans les provinces où nous sommes, on a plus de 6,6 millions de personnes déplacées. Et on parle d'enfants, de femmes, de personnes âgées, etc. So I decided to say that I want to be truthful to their ask and to tell you this. I don't know what you are going to do with it, but it's clearly that the global civil society has to be seized about what is happening in Eastern DRC. It's not acceptable in all accounts. And some of the part of my opening remarks in the Security Council today was to talk about a slum which was made by young people between 19 and 31 years old in Sake. So it's a territory which is known for being the theater of operations about M23 in DRC. And I hope I can share at some point the totality of the slum, because what I shared was just an extract of the slum. And for people who are listening and really listening and internalizing, you can feel the suffering and the despair of the people around the entire situation.
Thank you very much, Madam Keita. Edith Lederer from the Associated Press. You said in your briefing how dire the situation is in Eastern Congo, and yet there's a 2-week ceasefire that started January 5th. Is the ceasefire working? Is it having any impact? Has fighting diminished, or is the situation basically going on relatively unchanged?
Let me first welcome the truce. We are in few days from the Olympic Committee, and I recall that the truce was about the Olympic Games in one part of the world, which was Greece at some point, and it was a truce for 15 days for everyone to lay down their weapons and to engage in more positive activities such as sport. So I think it's very welcome, the truce for 2 weeks. My hope, and I think the hope of each and everyone, is for the truce to be continuing in a cessation of hostilities forever.
Hi, Sherwin Briceby, South African Broadcasting. SRSG, MONUSCO is leaving the DRC at the request of the national government. SAMI DRC is in there. They're not at full capacity yet, but losing troops in the process. What's the consideration and the equation that you're working at in terms of SRSG? Is it a good idea for MONUSCO to be leaving under these circumstances?
So clearly, as we were discussing in the open session, there is a request from the Security Council, which was made back in December when we had our Security Council Resolution 2717, which says, please, Secretary General of the United Nations, can you come back 30th of June with a letter which is going to examine the options in support of SAMI DRC, the regional force deployed in Eastern DRC. And in our view, it is important to provide support because in the same theater of operation, having the same goal, which is lasting peace in Eastern DRC, it is very important that this has been discussed in the open session, and we believe that at some point there will be a communication from the Security Council on this. Now, in relation to the disengagement of MONUSCO, we have signed a disengagement plan jointly, and I insist, jointly with the government. So it means it has been discussed with the government and signed off on 21st November 23. It has been endorsed by the Security Council on 19 December with our Security Council Resolution 2717. And clearly, what it says that we, the MONUSCO, are going to disengage from DRC from the 3 provinces where we were deployed back in December. And it will start with South Kivu, which is one of the provinces where we are deployed. And it's going to start in January, and it's going to end on 30th of June. And in spite of challenges, I say we, not MONUSCO alone or the United Nations, we, with the government, we have accomplished that. We have completed the closure of South Kivu on 25th of June with the Prime Minister presence in Kavumu, which is symbolically, we were landing at the airport and we did the signing of the implementation of the disengagement from South Kivu at the airport. So to say if this is a good time or not good time, I think in the open session, the permanent representative of DRC clearly said, we have done the best we could given the circumstances we were under. Now, it is very also important to acknowledge that it's not exactly where we want all of us the things to be, conform to the disengagement plan. So we will take time to consolidate what has been done in South Kivu with the understanding that the government is going to continue to increase its capabilities, particularly the deployment of the security services. And just for your information, and I'm sure maybe you already have the news, 400 police officers have been deployed very recently to increase the security services in South Kivu. And also, when it comes to the continuation of the deployment of security forces in South Kivu, it means that somehow there need to be a resolution of the situation in North Kivu, which is the situation with M23. So there is some correlation in terms of how you can allocate the resources available to you when you also have other priorities. So juggling different priorities means that it will take a little time for the increase in the number required for the protection of civilians in South Kivu. And this is a reality. And now, don't ask me, what next? What next has been said. We pause, we prepare, and we see what comes next based on the realities on the ground, not on any fixed date or anything of this sort.
No. I mean, the follow-up is what next? Because does it mean you hunker down, stay as a possibility? I mean, the security situation is not where you need it to be, and MONUSCO leaving is not an ideal situation. Surely you can agree with that.
So when you say MONUSCO leaving, again, I told you 3 phases, only one phase which has been termed in terms of timeline. North Kivu, no timeline. Ituri, no timeline. With the spirit and understanding that it has to be grounded on the reality on the ground, exactly what you have described. So based on that, today, it's very difficult to say, let's push forward. And this is not what the government is saying. The government is saying, let's pause, consolidate where we are coming from, and let's see the conditions in order to move forward.
Thank you, SRSG. Greg Walton, AFP. In the open session, US Ambassador Sullivan called quite explicitly for the Security Council to oppose any withdrawal from Nord Kivu. Is there harmony among Security Council members, particularly the permanent 5, in that regard? To oppose any withdrawal, any timeline for any withdrawal from Nord Kivu?
Well, my sense is that we have to look at what the government, the host nation is saying. And what the host nation has said is very clear. And it is in the public, because it was in the open session.
All right. If there are no more, Edie, did you? No? So we will wrap up. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.